I'm very happy to have all of you here and pleased to welcome and introduce Geshe Nyima Dakpa Rinpoche. Rinpoche is the abbot and lineage holder of Latri monastery in eastern Tibet. He, in his early years, studied Bon teachings at several renowned monasteries in India and Nepal, and he received his Geshe degree, which is the equivalent of a PhD, in 1987. He is also works very hard as the founder and director of an organization, Aid to Bon Children and Bon Children's Home, providing for the physical and educational needs of orphan Bon children. And in addition to these compassionate efforts, he's been very dedicated and generous in sharing the Bon teachings with us Western students. He's founded several centers around the world, and one here in this country in Minneapolis, the Eurobon Center. And he's written this wonderful book as a practical guide to help us prepare to receive the Bon teachings as native religion of Tibet. So we're very glad to have you here with us. Thank you. Welcome.
Welcome everybody and good afternoon. I'm happy to be back again here in this book show, ARC. So today our topic is, what's supposed to be our topic? What is our topic?
Bon and Shamanism.
I think you guys are more interested on shamanism than the practice. But I'm not sure how much I am going to talk about shamanism that can help you or that can make you deeper interest and understanding. Nevertheless, our topic is announced here as Bon and Shamanism. So I like to go with the Bon first. In Tibet, before the Yungdrung Bon, which is current our practice, being born in Tibet, so there was already existing the so-called Bon, the traditional kind of system that people believe and people are in contact with, and people are kind of being benefited and engaged in that. That is what we call Bon. In general, the literally meaning of the Bon is very wide and very deep. It can be so flexible. But here what we're talking mainly about is the system that is already existing long before the Yungdrung Bon teaching was brought or born in Tibet. That Bon is also known as a Bon. Bon literally means here also like an existing phenomena. That existing phenomena that includes everything. So in that very culture, in that very system of that time, people somehow spiritually they all are deeply connected and they need somewhere to believe, so-called their system of spirituality beyond our ordinary human ability, or ordinary, I can see more now. Ordinary, our human sort of contact. We believe that something, stronger power, higher power, superior power can make us different than our own limited power. That's our conceptual sort of set in our thought. So therefore always when we have some difficult situation, whether it's psychologically or whether it's environment, whether it's physical matters, so we always intend to help someone to get some more power or some more quality, some more energy. That is what the system is very, here's a space.
Yes, thank you.
So it's very well kind of being existing and a practice. That very tradition had not very much of historical sort of source, that where this particular tradition comes from and who started or established, or what are the fundamental sort of structure of this tradition, how you get practice. Is there any sort of frame, the structure, the graduality, and stage-wise to practice? There's no such. It's a direct sort of either it's energetical, or either it's physical, or either it's kind of conceptual. That is very much of, and that is mostly is believing kind of pattern that we already have established there. So when we have difficult, that is the what and who we try to hope to get help or benefit, some kind of thing, and that system is very strongly kind of practice or believe in that. So that includes no any a kind of system and frame of the practice that say, okay, this is our sort of focus of our practice, this is our meditation, this is our stage, this is what we gain if we follow this. There's no such in so-called as a burn, that what I'm talking about. It is a kind of tradition, and that includes channeling or mediating, that some spirit, some kind of energy, some kind of being can also transcend it in the person or human form, and that will through that very person, as an instrument to that person, so can apply some healing walks, exorcisms, energetic walks, or physical some contact, etc., etc. So these things are the one that is being quite strong, and which also believing and have building, able to build connection to environment, the 5 element or 5 external environment, the local spirit or negative or positive, whatever the spirit energy in that very existing area or place, and then also further little go the different level of the higher level or higher level of spirit level that is much more beyond our capacity of ability in many ways, in energetic level, physical level, concept level. So these are these sort of people, or what we can call is maybe shamanic people, or the priest, or whatever you call, right? So they have such a capacity to build up connection to them. So through their sort of contact, their kind of sort of transcending energy and a sort of power and believing. That includes also, if required, if needed, include also a sacrifice. So in order to have that sort of healing of the individual person, somebody is required. So more often, whether it's a big sort of thing, or whether even a piece of egg, or any chicken, or even small thing, some kind of sacrifice is very much fundamental kind of their action or ceremony or part of it. There's no such of literature script that can be traced at the background and history, and that something is mostly orally transmitted. Either that very person preaches to someone who he thinks that is qualified, or maybe father to son. Either way, it's more of it's orally transmitted, and it trained physically person to person. That is kind of system. That is kind of system of healing and prayer, or balancing energy, or protection, helping something that to remove or, from you, or this kind of system. It is long before existing there, and that is also a quite quite realistically, it's quite material level or some temporal level. It's quite helpful and beneficial too. That is why the people of Tibet then is quite strongly linked with that. But the most sort of differences between the Yungdrung Bon and those type of the Bon in then, one main thing different is very visible thing is sacrificing and non-sacrificing. And the Yungdrung Bon, which is eternal Bon or eternity of the Bon or teaching, which is the Rinpoche, who is the founder Buddha, we call him. So he had been introduced this teaching in Tibet during his first and last sort of visit in Tibet. So that time, this is very widely practiced. His main object of the introducing the Yungdrung Bon teaching then was to mainly to avoid sort of sacrifice, that are quite widely spread all over the Tibet. Because Yungdrung Bon teaching is based on non-violence, love and compassion, kindness. So that is strictly he have instructed. Kamsum senje tamje nyam bichala minjo par chikso jaru pön dag mishe so then loparche imbe charu mirumos is very clearly instructing, teaching. What does that mean is, without respecting equally to all sentient beings or all existing beings, instead to protect or save or rescue someone's life, taking someone's life or harming someone's life is completely wrong and against my tradition or teaching. So it is advised not to have such teaching or engage in this tradition. Therefore, this is a wrong path and you should avoid. That is the that very reason of his visit and sort of introduction of the teaching of the Buddha. Therefore, out of the 9 great gradual stages of the burn, or mostly in scholarly known as 9 ways of burn, so it's actually a 9 different stage or 9 different level of practice. So out of these 9, the first 4 teaching he had sort of introduced that he found kind of suitable and qualified that our Tibetan people then can understand. But above this, the 5 remaining the stage is which is more deeper and more sort of higher level. So he had not found yet there anyone to that completely or deeply to introduce, but he have prophesied and blessed later in future Tibet will be a sort of transmitted or will have capacity to understand the higher and particularly of Nga and Dzogchen. Nga means in Sanskrit they call Tantra, and Dzogchen means now many people know, I think, right? How many of you have heard about Dzogchen? Good. And how many of you are practicing Dzogchen? Good. So, anyhow, Dzogchen, even so, it was not then qualified, that people are not yet ready. But his main thing is to introduce and avoid the system and tradition of sacrificing. That is what he... Therefore, out of these 4 first stages, which is very much directly, it connects and it deals with our everyday experience and everyday life, to benefit in our everyday life. Nothing to do very much about emptiness, nothing to do very much about yidams, different level of yidams and khandros and the nature state of mind, absolutely not. So, but he was talking about how we could connect, how important to have a connection and understand, first of all, to connection to the external 5 elements that we are depending. We are strictly depending on the 5 pure energy or elements out there, and that directly impacts our inner element. That we are breathing, that we have applies, we have this and that. All those things are 5 elements. So he introduced that, and he introduced how to cleanse the impure energies in the existing sort of place or world or country. And in a simple way, even so, that most of you are witnessed, I think, and maybe some have heard about the so-called prayer flag, and the so-called that we make a sun offerings, you know, that prayer flags, and along with the smoke offering we make it. That is not just to make a smoke and to itch your eye and get difficult to breathe, but rather it meant something different. Through that there is a prayer that carrying the meaning of that very ceremony. And through that, how we send the message of the teaching. Those who are beyond our ability of communication physically. Right now we all can communicate physically, right? Each other as person. We are all in the same structure of form. But there are also limitless beings in this very space, existing along with us. But we don't communicate them through our body and through our voice, but we communicate them through mentally or through mind, through meditation. So such as like these prayers are meant to benefit also to them. And then whole in a bigger sense, that whole environment, heal, balance and purifying. So when you are being balanced, external elements, you get accordingly the quality. When your external elements are water, air, whatever, if everything is imbalanced and impure and polluted, then we all know very clearly that how much it impacts in our body, our health, our mental, and so on and so forth, right? Likewise, he has given these teachings that simple way, but it has a great message and quality to benefit. And then there are many many occasions that put us in a confusion, right? Knowing what to do, not knowing what to do, to make decision. Shall I make decision yes or shall I make not? Is this good time now or is it is too good for wait for a little longer? Such as, even if related with your health, relationship, business, each and everything is keeping in mind that all these different level of the teachings to help you through divination, and many ways of divination. So generally as a divination, they are through divination that it can guide and help us to make clear decision. If you are open and if you are trust, and then through astrology, astrologically it helps you even to get a little idea of how and what kind of person you are in the past your lives, and what kind of person you are going to meet in this life, and what kind of life you may have, etc., etc. These things all are being taught. And then for minor, we are all dependent, right? So this very physical body seems like very independent, very self-caring, we depend and we do all ourselves, and nobody can make your life better or good or whole because I am the one responsibility. That's how we generally thinking, very independent, thinking I take care of myself, isn't it? But if you think more deeper and more closely, we are not able to take care of ourselves at all, unless we depend on something else. Unless we are open to have that dependency, it's being, acknowledged, and live with that, with highly respect and realizing, and how to take kind of that benefit of dependency. It's not only to take, means when you know how to take, you also will know how to give. People who don't know how to give because they don't know how to take. So Buddha's teaching of these very general things are very kind of wisely and timely needed of the people of Tibet then, but for long term it is meant to benefit for whole in the future generation that who are karmically able to connect and have opportunity to benefit out of that, and then who are open for that, Teaching is never being forced to anybody. Teaching is always like an empty plate. Plate will never demand what kind of food you need put, right? Plate will just hold whatever being put in the plate. So if we are open and ready to receive any kind of opportunity that you have to receive some kind of knowledge, teaching, blessing, wisdom, whatever you call, if you are open for that, you become like an empty plate. If you are very fixed, only with a burger or with some kind of beef steak or with only pure vegetarian with the vegetable salad, so that depends. If you fixed all dishes all the time in a plate, so there's another food is not going to take place in that very plate, right? Unless you empty that plate. So that is what the Buddha's message teaches us. Do you make some kind of sense? Do you understand what I mean? What I'm saying? Oh yeah. So this is what the teaching is. Teaching of the burden. I really always think myself, and also I always encourage to my students and friends, should not take burn as a strictly, the religious sort of religious cage. You know, where you put in and then you have no freedom. So because of my religion, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. Oh, you know, many students come, or maybe say many listeners, come and ask, oh, I have been practicing and I have received this Buddhist deity and initiation. Am I okay to receive initiation in Burma? I said, that you ask yourself, not me. I answer for you. You have to say, are you okay to receive? Are you open for that? What makes you not okay? You have to make that correct first, if you feel like. None of the Buddha Shakyamuni or the Buddha Tombashira never says that. Their fundamental reason of the teaching is to benefit all sentient beings. That was from their beginning sort of object, focus of their teaching. It's not to prove how good they are able to, speaker. They are not meant to be proving that how they are learned and special and extra. Their meant is only how they can helpful in our everyday life to make life a little better or more meaningful or more prosperity. So when Buddha doesn't say that, no single moment, of course I have no depth of 100% ground of understanding of the burn. It's like a deep, big ocean. You know, more you swim in, you have farther to go down. So I can't climb that, I know everything. But so far as I have experienced and learned, and then being introduced by my own teachers, and very many learned Buddhist friends we met, and we talk, we share, we tease, we argue. None of them have saying, no, Buddha Shakyamuni says, if you receive the, Avalokiteshvara initiation, you should not go to take initiation from anywhere, including birth. No one have that word saying. If you have that Buddha's message, then his message is truly, it's not for us to benefit. If say, okay, if you receive initiation of Avalokiteshvara, that means you have now connected your kind of lineage into Buddhist. So you must avoid burn religious or practice of something. That means he have deep inside, he have not cut off himself, holding or attached. There's no such. All the teachings of both Buddhas is meant to release our attachment and grasping, ego, sectarian concept, isn't it? So then why not we? One way we believe to Buddhas, and one way we keep Buddha aside and we think our own thinking pattern and using, maybe my protector will not happy, maybe his protector will not happy, and these two protectors may fight, and you are being victim of these two fight. That is the proof that how we are yet there to learn so much by being total openness. So, Buddha's teaching, these things are meant to be making our life a little bit more better, easier. So this is based on this kind of more we call divination, astrology, and to heal, cleansing, sort of this ritual ceremony, some mantras, some prayers, and sort of mind-to-mind connection, belief and trust. That belief doesn't mean believe only on one and then otherwise you're gone. Belief can be on all, like open, but believe on all positive. So training our mind to make a better sort of being inside. That is our true sort of, picture, true identity. If your mind is being a well-trained mind, that means you are internally being a good human being. good person, honest person, friendly person, loving and kind person. When you are in that quality, living, you say, I believe on this religion or that religion, doesn't matter. You are believing on quality of Dharma, quality of Buddhas. That quality makes us all different, and that quality makes Buddhas special. Otherwise, what is speciality in the Buddhas? Right? The speciality of the Buddhas is because their true inner being was so beautiful and full of quality and love and compassion, beyond all this kind of racism and the religious sectarianism, and then ego, competitive each other, so and so. This all ego put us down. This all ego, this all sort of thought, making us actually unhealthy. When your inner being is being unhealthy, physical being, of course, is unhealthy, because physical being is only a sort of assistant to the mind. Whatever the mind says, be happy, and the physical body has to, yes, I have to accept, act like a happy. When your physical inner being says, today you must be act like a not happy, so your body say, oh, I'm not happy today, so tired. Who says that? Body never says that. Mind tells the body, say, do behave. So mind training is the training of your body. Your body training is the yourself training. That yourself is go back again to the yourself, who you are truly is. So these teachings, Buddha's reason is to awakening our inner spirituality. And that I always tell, spirituality is not a property of any religious tradition. Spirituality is we in human being, everyone's property. There's no any, legally authorized property of this kind of, spirituality, right? We are lacking this spirituality now. Early days, we are lacking materialistic conditions, but we are very rich in spirituality. Nowadays, we are very rich in material condition, external condition, but we are very poor in the spirituality. That's where we are having problem. Friend to friend is always suspicious. Husband to wife is often having suspicious. Teacher to disciple, disciple to teacher is suspicious, isn't it? Everybody shows a respect, nice, but do you really mean that from your heart? How much do you really mean that? What we show is the symbol, just showing, meant to be it from inside. Then you are near or you are far, doesn't matter. So this sort of quality is not existing in the early burn, the tradition so-called burn, which is we can sort of put in equal stand of like a shamanism, shamanic tradition. But now the shamanic, I just want to make a little clear, I'm not well educated or expert on this very field. Somehow this topic come and we title it, so. But I know this issue is sort of like everybody have a sort of wonderness of what is this. Therefore, the perception of the shamanism, the shamanic, in the Tibetan concept and Westerner concept, I think we need to know these two things, differences first. As far as my understanding, in Tibetan concept, when we say shamanic, we basically means, yes, we know that, as I mentioned earlier, temporal, relatively some help, you can get it from that very performance. I'm not saying never at all. There are qualities, some kind of benefit, but the way you perform, way you make ceremony, way you help, in all ways is very much of right physical present situation. That is what your object. You don't have further for what and why. For example, you are doing a sort of serious healing ceremony and you want to find out the root of that sickness. And if you find that this physical illness or suffering of this very person, it is not just only physical, directly something wrong, but it's more of some negative spirit is attacked or involved. So that very concept of shamanic, in our belief, in our Tibetan point of view, and that shamanic's job is, regardless of how you do, but your job is to subdue and kind of destroy and free that person. That is all what you do, and you are focused. And you put all your effort to make that happen. So, right? But here, therefore, when early days, when our so-called Tibetan Buddhist, originally it is never being a Tibetan Buddhist, is an Indian Buddhist actually. There's no Tibetan Buddhist. But later on, Tibetans are being well enough, intelligence to title them and authorizing them as a Tibetan Buddhist. But actually it's an Indian Buddhist who Tibetan adopted and take it. So they actually accused to the burn, oh, burn is shamanic, burn sacrifice. Burn has no ultimate path of practice, burn has no ultimate, naturally, no result of enlightenment. So burn should not be connected. That is not one time. That is not only one Lama. Many, even some very well known in society have written the books and expressed that time to time in the public gatherings. And we Tibetans are good believers. So you believe on who you want to believe, you strictly close eye and believe, and you don't bother to research. Or because of my teacher says so, I believe, that's it, fixed. That was good in one part, but there is a risk of one part too in yourself, for yourself. So anyhow, the reason of why Burn are being accused or kind of being titled as a shamanic sacrificing is they are not able to know how to distinguish the early stage countryside existing tradition before the Yungdrung Bon, right? And not knowing what is the true Yungdrung Bon tradition is. And without even putting hard enough effort to study, except nowadays few lamas, who have seen, studied in the burnt text, then they can say something is more reasonable, but many doesn't. The reason is only because they want to put all in one title. Yungdrung Bon and Bon is in under one title. In real, Yungdrung Bon and Bon is completely different. Therefore, Yungdrung Bon, it is engaged in the path of sacrificing and many other, and also not only sacrificing, engaging in practicing in this very sort of tradition of early, has no further to go. Something that, normally if we have any practice, you must have like a tawa, meditation view, what you are going to practice, your view of meditation. Then putting it into meditation. Then continuing in realization of that meditation. Effecting that meditation realization in your behavior, in conduct of your everyday living. Body, speech, mind. How you think, how you talk, what you kind of being in that influence in your everyday life. And that has to be proved in your result of that practice. So we say, tawa, gomba, chopa, devu. So meditation view. But this shamanic so-called early burn has no meditation view. It only does what you have in front of you to help or relieve or heal or whatever. But there is no such, okay, this is the shamanic way of meditation view. The ultimate view of shamanic meditation or Yungdrung Bon or the burn is this. So we have to have different. So they don't have that. Therefore there is no path. Temporal healing, temporal benefit, temporal exorcism, temporal releasing from the pain, temporarily separating from your negative spirit through this and through that ceremony and prayer and power of meditation or whatever you call it. But other than that, there's not very much something that you can say any those shamanic practitioner of early days of Tibet. There's no anyone say you can find that this is highly realized and achieve enlightenment through this practice. There's no one. Because there's no any basic practice of that to realize the result as. Therefore, in order to show a right path, to release permanent freedom from the suffering of cyclic existence, and to free your karmic kind of bound or karmic debt, so the Buddha Dhammasarab has taught these gradual teachings, to make you prepare and to make you good level of understanding. So the teaching of this 4 gradual stage first. Because first, your everyday life is need to be well sort of nourished, experience and benefit. Then you have a good reason to believe and hope this practice might help in next life. If you have never experienced in this life by your own experience, how do you and how much you have reasonable reason to say this will help my next life? Only answer you can say is because I believe so and my Buddha, my teacher says so. What else you can? Yes, you have to believe in Buddha's 3 jewels. You have to believe on your teacher, of course. But we are also good, intelligent enough, we have. Our brain is good enough to learn your own self to experience. Because Buddha, he says that itself, as well Buddha Shakyamuni. Says clearly, you know, this sentence, both Buddhas have said, meaning is to understand the depth of the Dharma need to be analyzed by ourselves, means by studying, educating. Like a goldsmith check gold by cutting, by rubbing, powdering and melting. Sek, che, dar, burning, sek means burning. Che means by cutting piece, so see inside whether there is any mixture. Dar means, okay, from outside skin, rub powder and see there is outside just its color or real gold. Sek-che Dharmisation, like goldsmiths, will confirm the purity of the gold by these 3 examinations. Says, my Dharma should also be analyzed by listening, by contemplating on, and by meditating on. Not only believe. Through this, it makes you comfortable and some kind of, yes, this makes sense. Yes, this I understand. Means, analyzing means trying to prove Buddha's teaching is not well enough truth or quality. It is trying to put ourselves effort to understand the depth of the teaching of the what Buddha is meant about. Otherwise, sometimes Buddha says, everything is temporal and impermanent, and sometimes he says permanent. Sometimes it's truth and sometimes it's truthless. So it's simply confused. But if you study, then you will have a capacity to understand, oh, this means that means this. When we have that knowledge, here is a space. Here is a space. So that is way, in our concept of shamanism, in Tibetan concept, that is how we look. Therefore, I know some our Khenpo masters, they try to kind of convince or they're trying to link these days, not early days, any master will say, but these days somebody say, burn have part of shamanism, which general burn doctrine and majority and our teachers will never accept and will never follow that. It is only to make some kind of easy communication and people to understand or excited, I don't know, whatever. So this they are using it term, but in real purpose of Yungdrung Bon is to eliminate the system of this shamanic in Tibet, and to Tibetan people to build the deeper understanding of not only spirituality, but based on that pure spirituality, to deepening your own understanding, wisdom and knowledge, so that we become ourselves, our teacher, perfect teacher of our own self. You know, teachers will give you a message and the teachings of the Buddhas, but teachers only give you a message. That message used, make it beneficial, helpful or not with the teacher, it's with our own self. So we have to act ourselves a good teacher or for ourselves. Then you can become a Buddha. So you don't depend necessarily to Buddha Tomashera or Buddha Shakyamuni, how wonderful they are. If you feel they are wonderful, follow their path, be yourself one of them. And that is what Buddha says. That is meant to be. Says, follow the path that I have instructed and lead. You will reach to where I am. You will become like me. So Buddha never say he is extraordinary and superior and you all have to say, burn incense and make me offering. He never said that. And Buddha also have been followed the same way as we are taught. Teachings are, you know. So that is way, in our system, in Tibetan culture of how we think and how we look as shamanic, we still have some sort of, still are existing. It is not that it's totally clean and web up, not like that. Still there, not only in Tibet, many remote areas of Himalaya especially, region in Bhutan, Nepal, India, many corners. And I'm sure Mongolia they have quite, I have heard, quite many, and then many else in the corner of the world, there are many shamanic traditions are existing. You know, from the Westerner point of view, I have not very much deep knowledge, but so far I have met several of them. I have been asking them, you know, they have very much, basic thing is very much looks like same. Means they have no, any kind of one source that this teacher started this tradition. There's no, they even don't know when it is being started, when it took place. They don't know. They don't have gradual path of practice. Say first this, second this, and third this. There is no such. There is no specific like meditation view. For in Tibetan, like Buddhist and Bon, we have a views. You know, according to Sutra, we practice emptiness is our ultimate view of meditation, isn't it? In Tantra, we have a practice through the two-generation practice, and we try to practice the union of Yin, the Yishe, spacious and emptiness. We have a practice in Dzogchen, Santong Sungju, clarity of emptiness. That is our meditation view. That means our focus of practice to understand that. But in shamanic, those I have asked who I met, they don't have such like. They don't, some say they even don't have any text. I'm not sure this is applicable to everyone or not. Says it's mostly, it's kind of word to word or orally transmitting or something. You choose that very particular person as, you know, your successor or follower, some kind of way. But all of them, focus is, if somebody is need to be healed, you focus the pain and the problem of that person to remove. That's all your focus of energy, your focus of meditation, you do to relieve that. Not necessarily it is out of, you felt the suffering and pain and then you generate the compassion and then you put action of warm-hearted that wander to heal because of the pain is so much suffering and to free. That concept based on burn, but not in the shamanic. They may have a good intention because they are asked, they want to, but not on the basis of unconditional compassion, as far as in my knowledge that I have been sort of understood. And there are some similarity like in a physical performance. Like example, the symbols you use in many feathers, different feathers for different purpose of healing, cleansing, removing negative energies. And also, they also need the energy, not only, your own energy is working. You need energy, something above your energy. That they call a spirit. Some kind of spirit they are connecting in their concentration, thought-wise, and they get that help, and through that, and that kind of concentration is quite powerful they have. They can really visibly make kind of differences in the changing, like even say, some shamanic, they have such a power, to remove the illness of somebody. They kind of put that illness symbol in the egg, and egg inside color is kind of changing or bloody, things like that. Through that, they heal it. They have such a character of ability, because that's how they live and they believe, and they are being practicing in sort of that way. But ultimately showing path. In our tradition, Tibetan, for example, as a burn, if I say, let's say we have a spirit that somebody is attacking on, or demon, evil, whatever you call. Yes, if that is the case, we do need to separate that person. Number one, we have to free that person from that very negative spirit. But also, same time, our duty or our professionality is not only to cure that very human being or that very person who is that your job or your purpose there to perform this ritual. But same time, as a person, as a spiritually believer and a practicing of based on non-violence and compassion and love, we also need to mindfully, seriously, we need to help that very spirit. That spirit is need to be transformed, the personality of the spirit nature. Otherwise, you free that person, but that can also go another place and someone be the victim of that same. Because his or her, that personality, its nature, it's a negative. So our purpose is mainly we need to guide that spirit. That spirit needs to be introduced first. The nature of that harming is not ultimate releasing or benefiting or clearing their path. It is cultivating emotionally or negative karma of themselves. And that also strengthening their negativity. If we let like that, no one do that. So, through our prayer, through our compassion, through our ability of energy or quality, what you have, that is what we need to put effort to transform that spirit nature. So that is the difference, biggest difference in the concept of how you help to heal somebody. But also we are mindfully conscious to also concerning that who is attacking, also equally sentient being. Not in the same way as we human being, but they are also in a different. In our everyday prayer, we call it all sentient beings. Right? So that means they are sentient beings, they are the most help needed. They are lost, guide is missing, they are lost. They don't realize they are harming. So the concept of in a burn practice is through this we help them. So that means we are helping them sort of permanently. If we are helping to the person that who are being attacked, we meant to be helping them permanently to keep in a protection from such negative energy, number one, and to heal through our energy or our compassion or prayer or so and so, At the same time, that liberation of that very negative spirit and showing the path to that spirit, then we are not harming neither one, but we are helping both and we are healing both. That is the, I think, one of the main difference. But similarly aspects, like soul retrieval, what do you call it, retrieval? How you call?
Retrieval.
Yeah, so soul, bringing back the soul. Yeah, this is quite well known in performing like that. So again, the aim and object and the way is very different. We're using the term as still, whether we are using the correct word of soul or not, because soul in Catholic is very different than what we are meant here. But when we use that, everybody pretend they understood what we mean, and we think we have say some correct word. So naturally, in reality, none of us is clear about it. But still, we pretend both say, "Oh, yeah, I know that." That's how we are, and we are used to pretend like that. I know. When somebody say an advice or guide something, first you come to advice. When somebody advise. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I understand. Sometimes it comes to me in my thought, question, if you understand why you come here. Or otherwise, if you understand why you don't use it, why you keep suffering yourself, why you expect somebody help you, what you already know, isn't it? So that's our mantra of saying I know. It's very much of our mantra of this time. I know. Actually, sometimes I know means I don't know. What you know is you don't know. That's all. But you don't know that. That is what is confusing. Oh yeah, what else? What else I should talk about?
Your beautiful book.
Okay. So now why the Buddha told then, teaching of the Yungdrung Bon, we call Yungdrung Bon, but short time everybody using a burn. Somebody say bon, somebody say burn, somebody have a little bit normal burn, whatever, so B-O-N. Burn, okay. So anyhow, the literally translating is more, I think is easy. We can say eternal burn. Something which is not only to worship, not only to be just trusted on, but rather if you utilize, if you apply the meaning of that in your everyday life, that have a capacity and ability to help us temporal level and also have an ability and quality lead us to get benefit ultimate level. Means awakening, total awakening and total understanding and absolute realization. Many times we know, we understand, but we are not realizing it. Example. Everybody know that anger is not something a beautiful thing to have. Right? Okay, raise me hand in your life up until now who don't have an anger experience. No, I'm just curious how many people have that. So means everybody know that. So how many of you like and how many of you don't like? Anger. So first raise hands, anybody who like the anger. Good, one person he liked the anger. And how many of you don't like anger? Yes. So he raised the hand also. He liked that. So we know the anger is not good sort of energy in us. We know that, very intellectual level. But how many of us have realized that what we don't like and we don't enjoy anger? How many of us have realized that? Sign is that who have not yet eliminated anger in their existing life, that means we have not realized anger. Or how many have, even anger arise, how many have controlled? This is the question, okay? Understanding is one thing, and realization is one thing. Putting in experience is one thing. Understanding and then putting into practice to make it realize, and then make it in experience. Yeah, if you make it these three things sort of connected, our life will be a different in a sort of nature of the way we live and how we could handle. Most of the time when our anger arises, we all know that anger is arising, but we just let it go. Let the anger rule us, not the we rule anger. And then when anger fully takes place in us, we kind of don't have a sense of mindfulness there, that how we are acting that. Our facial, our body language, our verbal language. We don't have a sense of control what word we should use and what word we should not use. The way how body language should act or should not. We are out of control. We just do just anger is ruling, totally dominating in us. Right? And we do whatever we are meant to be doing there out of anger's choice. And after everything is over, maybe half an hour, maybe 1 hour, and you begin to say, oh, something is wrong, And you begin to realize, oh, that was not right. Oh, I have said really, wrong and harsh language too. I shouldn't have said. You feel regret. You feel sorry. For some extent, it remains in your thought. But gradually, you are more engaged in something else, and you are something away and away. The sorry is gone. You will repeat that again and again, right? That is the very much how we are all. So teaching of the Yungdrung Bon is meant to be sort of say, in another way, if I am using the word correctly or right word, people go to spend a lot of money in beauty parlors, salons, spending to make your hair more better, looking stylish. Your face looks like a little bit more colorful, shining, charming, whatever, and doing all sort of things. Does any of these helps to reduce your attachment or anger or jealousy? If you don't flashback, it won't help. It actually promote, and you get actually sort of like addicted. Oh, after 1 week, oh, I have not gone to salon for 2 weeks. I must go. I must polish my nails and color and so and so. What I am trying to say is, this is all because of our deep insight, the darkness of the ignorance. It's well settled there. Foundation is very strongly, and his armies of these 5 soldiers, let's say that way, king of this or leader of this commander, right? Head of the army is commander. Commander in chief of these 5 soldiers. Desire, attachment, anger, ignorant itself, close-mindedness actually, timu, pride, jealousy. Chief of these 5 soldiers is ignorance itself. In Tibetan we call maripa. Ma Rigpa has a very good explanation. When we say ignorance, I don't know very much in English tongue how much each syllable contains, but in Tibetan, Ma Rigpa, Ma means negation word, right? Ma is negative of seeing. Rigpa is actually seeing what you see, right? Seeing things as it is a Rigpa. When you put the Ma ahead of that, so it means not seeing. So that very basic thought of ignorance, born with that, lineage Maripa we call it. There is one Maripa we born with, there is one Maripa we developed it the more time, a long time that we grow. So the lineage Maripa, born Maripa within ourselves, that is the karmic bound thought of us. That thought is two aspects. And that one is what we call Maripa, not seeing things as it is. And we are actually completely nourishing that, allowing whenever anger comes, we support. We use that for some kind of tool. You have a strong anger and you have anger energy to argue and discuss and to overcoming from, you feel like strengthening and defending. Strong attachment is like thinking that you are making yourself having all good, make sure, jealousy as well and so forth. This is all because of you are not seeing the true meaning of, true character and personality of each of these poisons. In Tibetan we call these 5 soldiers as a Tuknga. Tuk means poison, Nga means 5. This 5 poison is named as a poison because each of them destroys our inner personality of quality. We have 5 personality in a positive side, we call it awareness or knowledge opposite of sight. That all destroys, and all our inner happiness destroys. Our relationship or friendship destroys, right? So this, what the teaching of Yungdrung Bon meant, to refining these qualities by simply putting our thought in present, always in attentive or mindfulness. These days mindfulness is again a strong wave of interest people talk. There was a Dzogchen was a kind of, still yes, but Dzogchen is a kind of hot wave of everywhere, Dzogchen. Then, so now is coming, mindfulness is quite hot wave in the West, people talking about. But truly what mindfulness is, you don't need to teach mindfulness. If you be yourself mindfulness, everything teaches itself. We looks like need to learn. If nothing is based in you, no one can teach you anything what is not in you. You understand? Therefore I say earlier, we can prove ourselves the best teacher. We can make ourselves a best teacher simply being mindfulness ourselves in every action of body and speech and mind. That is what the Rinpoche teaches us. That is the fundamental practice of Rinpoche's teaching. Respecting to environment. And again, I don't mean to be anything negative to the Buddhist friends. Simply means we have again another title, burn like sky. Purpose like sky, color maybe, blue. Purpose like water, rocks, trees, they believe, that's their belief. Purpose are not a kind of like addicted, or purpose are not attached in sky and a tree and rock and water. But purpose know the depth or potential of these qualities, energies. Because this is being what the Buddha have taught from the very beginning. When we taught at the first 4 stages of the 9 ways, one of them, as I say, is the prayer flag, right? And every one of you know, in the prayer flag we have 5 colors of the clothes. Printed different mantra, same mantra, 5 colors. what this 5 color is about. This 5 color physical level, these represent 5 elements, external elements. Yellow earth, blue water, sa, chu, red fire, green the loom, the wind, sa, chu, melo, namgata, white, spacious or emptiness. And these 5 potential subtle energy of the 5 elements, internal element of these 5. Here is one person. Here is one space. So here is one space.
There's one here too.
Okay, good. So, when we talk about the 5 elements, seems like, oh, everybody know earth, everybody know water. We're not talking about you don't know the earth. We're talking about, do you connect to the earth element energy? Do you connect water element energy? Do you connect wind element energy? Right? And how you get integrating? Are you connecting to the essence that is in you? That is we are talking about. And this is something we cannot avoid, not knowing, because this is the whole thing makes matter. If your earth element is imbalanced, you will have a part of your organ damage difference. If your wind element is damaged, you will have an organ level lung is being unhealthy or damaged or something. Your fire element connects to the liver. Earth element connects to, element connects to the spleen, and heart, this space element, the breathing, that wind element. Each of these directly connect to our organs. This is all very gross level we are talking about. Subtle most level, the essence of this 5 energy, which makes these 5 organ function. And this goes, subtle most goes to the 5 color of light. This 5 color of light we experience when we die, instead of bardo experience. Because if you know, that is the way you guide yourself. If you have an experience of power teaching, if you have an experience of bardo and death and dying teaching, and apply it in practice, not only collecting teaching, but apply in practice, this is the moment you will get the most helpful. And in your life, when you know this, you can keep your health in quite good shape. Even you go through a lot of sickness, physical illness, you will have some extent or some capacity to balance it, to keep in until balance. So it's not just bamboo like this 5 kind of raw material outside there, right? These are our fundamental things. Without clear air, you cannot survive healthy. This we talk now about water pollution and air pollution. Most talk about air pollution, right? And that affects our lung, and that affects so-called our life. Likewise, these teachings are meant to deepening in ourselves and applying these basic teachings of 5 colors of the light, 5 colors of the color that in the prayer flag is carrying on symbol of energy of this 5 representative energy of the element, which through mantra and with the prayer that is being printed, through wind, it goes and meant to be healing wherever this message or energy takes by wind. That all area, all place, and all being invisible in our eye get benefits. So these teachings are highly respected. People are talking now, putting effort, country and country making agreements, right? To clean environment, protection of environment. Buddha Tapasya has stood this long before, and we in Tibet are actualizing this in action. We are practicing it. So far, our Tibet environment is very high in quality, energy, clean, but now slowly polluting. People are more thoughtless, careless. And then material of this all, what you call, the substance things are arising, right? More car, it makes easy in one way, the one way it makes worse of environmentally, you know. So many things like that. One Westerner visit our monastery in India. He was very upset and he is very angry and sort of complaining to His Holiness, our spiritual head of the Burn tradition in India. He says, why Tibetans are not being taken care of such a holy environment of Mount Kailash. Everywhere is, rubbish, this water bottle, juice, plastic bags and so, and this, all these things. Why they are not cleaning? I'm going to complain to His Holiness Dalai Lama. He should advise them, and very beginning His Holiness listened to him, okay. But he became endless, continually like he is the one only who know now, and nobody knew that before. And then His Holiness, okay, that's very good idea. What did you found most sort of garbage there? Oh, I said a lot of plastic bottles, and they were cans, juice and these fancy things, and cigarette packets, chocolate, these plastics, and many things. I see, he says. We Tibetans don't used to have those things. We drink directly from the water, which is clean. We don't have a habit of drinking canned these things. We don't have those chocolate habit of eating. I think this is the mostly you Westerners brought it.
Reduced packaging.
So then he says, so do you think now you still want to go to His Holiness and complain? He says, I need to think about it. Sometimes we blame each other easily, without going deep inside. What is not the point who throw those garbage. The thing is the garbage. Whether it's thrown or left by Tibetan or American or Chinese or Indian tourists, it's not makes difference. The garbage makes difference to the environment. Our garbage is whether because of she or because of him you get anger. That is not important. The anger makes difference. The point is you need to clean, heal, liberate the anger. Not the who make you anger as one is white and one is black. No, that doesn't make. So the teaching is not to point always to finger others. The Yungdrung Bon teaching always say inner mirror. The true spiritual understanding and the development of the Yungdrung Bon practice. It's like an inner mirror that you are looking inward, not outside. Up until now, we are very habitualized to look the mirror out on the wall. Wherever you have a wall, hanging sort of mirror, and you always look in front and make sure you're okay. But you never checked, make sure I'm inside okay. So Bon teaching is meant to be guiding us to look beauty inside. From inside, you reflect the beauty of your heart, beauty of your true being. Then you are always beauty. The true beauty relies in our own self, not search to outside. Outside looking beauty is time pass, changing. 50 years before, it must be very young, energetic beauty. After 50 years, we all know that, So it's going to change. But the inner beauty, from 20 years or 50 years and until your last breath, inner beauty, if you build that beauty and discover it, that beauty remains always forever. And that is not only remaining beauty with us, with our life, in our life, but will put us in safe, secure, and nice, sort of true, beautiful stage of your next life. That is what the Yungdrung Bon is emphasizing, to develop inner quality, inner, inside, your true being. Mind needs to be trained. Through rituals, through ceremonies, you can make temporal many benefit, and that is very important in this part of our life. Yungdrung Bon is not saying once you engage in a Yungdrung Bon tradition or belief, you forget all your cyclic existing life. We're not saying that. That's karmically we cannot do that. Right? But we can do something is, if you take your full responsibility to liberate 5 poison in you, and second person do the same, and third person do the same, gradually all people do the same, so then they won't have samsara. Samsara means that is hold up in cyclic existing, endless, going through endless sort of pain and sorrow. And nirvana or enlightenment is going beyond that sorrow, means freedom from the sorrow. So Yungdrung Bon is based, emphasizing to transform, in tantric ways we say transform your inner being or inner heart. Dzogchen we say self-liberate your inner being and inner self-bound. And the, sutra, we say be alert of those old dangers, so don't go along with them. Don't companion, try not to companion with those old 5 poison soldiers. Then you are safe, right? But in order to make this all deep understanding, because of, for example, in the West, culturally we have a big difference. But down in earth, or down in the very basic ground, we all human beings have the same sort of sense of personality that we all can feel the true love and compassion even without saying each other anything. Not necessarily always say, I love you, I love you, I love, like a mantra, I love you saying doesn't mean you love necessarily, isn't it? True love can felt, can notice, can sense. True love can sense. Whether it's true friend to friend, or husband to wife, parents to child, child to parents, you don't necessarily have to express how much I like you, I love you. If it is true, that need to be just, it's like a sun, a shining cloudless sun. When the sun is shining brightly with no cloud in the far distance, even in the sky, up in the space, it heat still effect on the ground we are here. The brightness, it still effect on this earth, right? Doesn't say anything, it's just there. Very genuinely. Not anything sort of, playing a game that I do this because I want to gain this. But we human nature, and especially these days, many people are always behind something. Doing something means behind there is something, like always. Not everybody, but mostly that is how. Therefore, people are now very much of business oriented. If I do this, what I gain? Hardly people say, okay, if I do this, how much that benefit to how many people, how many capacity of the peoples or sentient beings can benefit. Huh? Okay, if I do this, how much do you pay me? Isn't it? So this is how basic, in early days in Tibet, it's not like that. But nowadays, as the whole world is changing, nowadays in Tibet also, this changing is witnessing, which is very sad, which is very concerning. Really it's very concerning. Such a culture, such a tradition, if this is going to be lost and disappeared, it will take years and years and years to reconnect and rebuild it again. We all human beings have a great potential to transform whole sort of in positive manner. We also make damage. That means we have positive energy also to make it positive, good health. It is not something we only can have something negative impact other. No. As much as we have ability and energy to impact others in a wrong way or negative way, that much positive we have also impact, such as like the healing. Healing the pain, healing the sorrow, healing the concern. is not something put you in a liberation, total liberation, but temporal freedom and opening your heart or opening your space for the second sort of opportunity to make it manifest, right? So gradually, that is where the 9 different stages of the Buddhism teaching is beginning from that sense of fundamental human quality to make well grounded in us. Human quality. And then we can deepening that in a secret level. And then we can think about something deeper, sort of emotional, inner pain, inner suffering, so-called stress, depression, which is one of the main issues these days. Everywhere, not only one place, country, everywhere, especially in many younger generations, they are going through a lot of stress, lot of depression. In early days, younger generation, like on my age, when I am in their age, let's say 25, under 30, we never heard about stress and depression, really. We never heard about that. And slowly, when people are talking more and more and more, paying little attention, what really they are meant about that so-called stress. And then going into depression. Then you really see why often we are in that state. Number one, in my understanding, is totally lacking a full self-confidence and self-realization. Mental level and subtle level of the yourself, both. Lack of that condition, it raises all these issues, stress and depression, etc. And lacking a believing on spirituality, purity of spirituality is very much lacking now. Everybody talk about the material needs, money, power, position. Everybody talks happiness, but that really doesn't mean happiness something inside to discover. That really means something very limited, external, something that you can reach easily, something you can kind of have that sort of more of like external, material conditions, like, which never actually heal our problem. More healing, the more problems. And that is taught in the very beginning stage of the teaching in Buddhas. Says, there is 8 sort of pain or sorrow that we human beings can have. The one of them is when we don't have things, we worry about not having. When we have things enough, we worry about how to make it more. When we make more, we worry about how to take care of it. Actually, we are looking for the worry, but still same time we complain about the worry. Right? So now that means we are contradicting too. We are contradicting to our expectation or our wish and our action. That is the point. Teaching is meant to how to link these two, how to connect the gap between our life, in everyday life, and our inner being connection, to understand the reality of. There's no any sentient being on this earth that have no suffering and no complaint. But they all handle differently. That makes like someone is very much, affected and seriously kind of affected and affects in a life quality. Someone like, they have great capacity of healing. They don't have any special healing capacity, but they just look very differently from different point of view. That is makes difference. Now the things, what we are experiencing and witnessing is different. The looking perspective is different. From the direction, which direction you are looking makes a difference. But not the difference, what we are looking is the same. We are looking on the same thing, but from different perspective, from different angle. Do you understand what I mean? That makes difference in a different experience. For example, we Tibetan mostly look everything, easily we blame everything to our karma, which is very good releasing, say, I am clean but my karma. So, right? Because karma is very, very helpful tool. Something we can blame everything and it will never say, no, I'm not responsible. If you blame to somebody else, they say, no, I'm not responsible. He or she will clarify and argue and disagree and so and so. But karma keep listening. Okay, you blame me everything. And then it makes yourself, yes, if not my karma, I would be much better. That's how we relax on the karma. But Buddha didn't say that to do. Buddha say, understand karmic consequences. The cause you cultivate, the result you bear of your own consequences that you are responsibility. But John's cause of karma is not going to affect to me. So you cannot blame it to me because of your own cause. But we are always doing like that. Do wrong by yourself, blame to somebody else. But here, if you really want to blame to karma, not to person. Because that will feel that, okay, I have cleaned myself, so karma be the one. And whoever let handle them, karma, not me. But teaching-wise, better you are connecting to karma, better you are educating in karma, better you are realizing in karmic connections, karmic sort of energies, links of the cause and the condition, better you will have, easy you will have, broader you have capacity to handle the things, much more relaxing, much more acknowledging. Understand? Often we also get a lot of difficult and struggle because we often don't acknowledge and accept. We often reject, right? We often don't want to acknowledge what is happening as it is taking place in you already, but still you are not ready to acknowledge and accept, openness for accepting what is happening. You always try to find, why me? Why now? And to justify yourself that I'm not supposed to be the one because you think that you have not done anything wrong to anybody else. That often people blame me, complain like that. That is not the case. Karma doesn't mean everything in this life that you born and you do and that's it. No. Karma is kind of sting of energy that continues life after life till you get total freedom from that karmic death. That is liberation, total liberation or Buddhahood. Buddhahood is total purification. In place of purification, complete accomplishment of all the qualities, goodness. That is Buddha. Buddha is nothing special. We make image beautiful there, But truly the Buddha is your mind when you free all this negativity, karmic bounds, and liberate it and realize as you are, that is a Buddha. So therefore, there's no Buddha to worship somewhere far in the space. We always pray like this, Make your Buddha awaken in, you will see the Buddha. you will experience the Buddha's presence. You will receive the blessing of the Buddha's presence. That will help you to overcoming our inner illusion. Yeah? Okay. Okay, I will have some questions. Anybody have any questions? So I maybe can focus a little bit exactly what you are expecting me to talk. Yes.
In anger, when you're in anger with someone, and you just shift a bit of the thought, that goes away. Can you talk a little about that?
Good. I think first stage, I think we all need to understand. I think we all need to understand, to realize when anger is beginning to arise, because that feels sort of kind of energy inside of you. Okay, let's say that way. If you are aware of that, that is the way you need to focus deeply and strongly in a mind or in a mental level. Okay, where you need to focus. Okay, my sort of anger is arising, so I have to be, and I'm not let this anger manifest. And if you focus that in your concentration, whatever the condition or cause is making you, that will keeps you strength to let it hold. Even it arise, not to manifest. That's number one state I think we need to train. To have that, to make that ability, there are certain ways you can try. One, you can maybe recite mantras. Maybe you can think of what you like most. Maybe you can think of Buddha's image. Maybe you think about the most pleasure experience of your travel. Maybe think of your first dating experience, how good that was, how agitating that was. This will shift your strength of energy to continuing putting force to energy of anger to grow. And that, if you habitualize of practice of controlling the anger not to manifest, your first level is being able to succeed. Once you succeed in that, that gives you a great sort of platform that where this anger arises, beginning of experience, you are fully aware and attentive or mindfulness, and you will easily able to remain of that. Deepening that, then you will even not necessarily make it begin to feel the anger. Condition arise, immediately you will have a sort of ability to experience or to transform your thought in a loving, kindness, friendship, openness, allowing, etc., etc. There are many ways. And even sometimes when anger is being not able to control, it is not easy. But then try to not to follow after continuing. Following after, Sometimes we have a difficulty is not only once anger is very strongly manifest and done everything whatever it meant to be doing. Even everything happened after 2 years, you still holding that same energy and makes you still the victim of that very energy 2 years of past. Because we are following that and keeping that alive by reflecting on it. So that combination can be released, forgiving, let go, compassion. Because who are uncontrolled and conditioning you to get anger, lack of their wisdom of loving and compassion. It's not because they're enjoying it. They are also, same way, they are also suffering. Compassion to them that they have no capacity. And make yourself a little bit inspired because you are able to apply that practice so that you could make it control. So actually we, each and every one, ourselves, anger is more need to be controlled than the condition of your causes of your anger. Causes will not harm you inside. Causes will disturb you external, outside, very what you call surface level. But the true anger of your own inside, what energy is aroused, that kills you. That destroys your inner peace, inner harmony, destabilizing your peaceful mind, isn't it? So that way, if you train, but be mindfulness always, and learn what the anger causes you damage, what the anger will benefit if you have anger, what you get benefit from this, and what it causing not only you, others. Think this too and make sure you have clear sort of knowledge. Then you have a great choice, what you like to be, right? No one wants to be self-hurted, isn't it? So we have good reason to not let our anger manifest. Even somehow it arises and it happened. So try to learn immediately to let go, not chasing after. Whatever happened, happened. That's it. Like sleeping and then gone, right? So it is not easy again, but if you are mindfully and applying this very, attentively, you can make it happen. And this is very much, most of every nature of the poisons are different a little bit, but most of the time, that's why we have to handle it by being ourselves of mindfulness. Yes, any other questions? Yes.
Rinpoche, is there an intimate connection between Bon and Nyima through Dzogchen?
Your question is there any...
Is there an intimate connection between Bon and Nyima through Dzogchen?
Yeah. It's a good question, yes. This is the main issue of the Nyima and Bon. When you go to Nyima lecture or masters talking about Dzogchen, they always say how Bon has been copied every Dzogchen of the Nyingmas. And if you go to Dzogchen in Bon, they will say very much the same thing, how Nyingma have Dzogchen. Whatever the reasons, who copied what, that's not important, I would say. But the pure aspect of the Dzogchen of both Nyingma and Bon are, I can say, exactly 100% same in essence. Reason why I'm saying that same in essence, because practicing genuinely and truly, as per the traditional text of the Dzogchen in both order, the result you will experience both means achieving the body of light or rainbow body. That is existing in Nyingma as well as in Bon. And if you also read both texts of the both tradition, the true Dzogchen, reliable text or authentic text, the ultimate essence and the Dzogchen view in a Dzogchen point of view from Nyingma or Dzogchen point of view from Bon, it's absolutely same. Only the transmission source begins from different period and a different person climbing that both tradition. We, for example, in Bon, we climb from primordial Buddha Kundasambo, then gradually all this different level of transmissions order, and they climb the Kundasambo as well, but then climbing to the one of their master known as a Garab Dorje. They claim that Garab Dorje is the first human being who brought the Dzogchen teaching, but the source is not so clear, although they say, I don't mean to, I'm defending Bon at all. So simply what I'm saying is, the Garab Dorje, the Garab, is not mentioned Dorje, but in our shorter lineage, there is a shorter lineage, longer lineage, and a diverted lineage. There's three different sources of lineage in a Bon. The shorter one, which is directly coming from Kundasambo, unbrokenly from this and that. 13 master in our that lineage, there we have a Tulku Shangshung Garab, not a Dorje. Dorje can be add anybody later on, right? But Shangshung Garab, this seems very much the same person the Nyima are talking, but 100% we don't have anything evident that Shangshung Garab is the Garab Dorje who they claim the source of Dzogchen teaching. But very many, not we, many scholars nowadays who are researching, they're very much coming to the point now that this is the same 13th master in our lineage of the Burn is the what that now they claim as a Garab Dorje. If that is so, so only that is the name differently driven, written, but the essence teaching is that same lineage. So anyhow, the essence of the Dzogchen in a point of view from its meditation view and the result is exactly the same. Nyingma and both Burn. Yes, any questions?
In these times, which are so troubled right now, there's a lot of despair. What is the best way to deal with despair?
Very good. First of all, according to, from the Burn point of view, this is we call the period of degeneration. And degeneration means everything is decreasing, the positivity in general saying. Lifespan of the people, mentality of the people, spirituality in the people, and all sort of normal, basic quality of the we human being, etc. Everything is decreasing. Means we human beings are going beyond our reality. We are more on the materialistic and poison, illusion side than the realization. Okay, so then everything arises with a cause. Without cause, nothing can appear. Right? So the cause of this stability is based on our ignorance. Based on our ignorance, but we can always easily, as I say, complaining to this person, this country, that country. Actually, collectively, we all human beings are responsible for that. So that means we all human beings have an ability and responsibility to do good and responsibility to do, and we all have a capacity still to do. There are many levels of practice. Be a warm-hearted to all sentient beings, knowing how to let go and forgiving to your enemies. Be more realistic and honest. Open heart each other. Opening heart is very important. Only that being warm-hearted and openness of our heart to others, even they dislike you, even they hate you, but from your side you do what you need to be done, not what they think about you. Doing yourself, think, what are you doing? Am I doing right, or am I doing according to other person's behavior? If you do always the behavior of your counterpartner, and if somebody is very always negative and wrongdoing, animism, right? No. Animosity? And what? Oh yeah. That, if you became to act likewise, then what is the difference between you and them, who you, complain about? Same thing. So make yourself, don't search who is responsibility. Do what is need to be done. So from our side, through meditation, through prayer, and through action of the body, as much as you could, pray for the world peace. Pray inner peace, harmony. You know, that's where, for example, I'm not only saying we try to do it, individually as well, and like in Yelu, we have a center, my center in Minneapolis. Every year, on the 5th day of the Tibetan calendar, we do a global, our annual practice for world peace and harmony. we do worldwide meditation. If any one of you are interested, contact to Deborah, and maybe some of you are already engaged in taking participate. We're doing worldwide connected, right? Maybe if anybody want to know more, do it. I know this is not something sufficient, doing one time in a year. Every day in prayer, what you are praying? Good enough. Not good enough to pray for my happiness, for my family. If whole your environment is disturbed, how you can be happy and peaceful? Pray for all. You can be happy, because if everyone is peace in a country, like example, if America as a country is fully disturbed, how you could expect that you are only undisturbed? Because you are part of. American is not a single person. American is all people who are nationality and who are living in the country is part of connection, right? Each and every one we can do our part of things in doing. So don't worry who doesn't do, say why not he or she is doing. That is not our responsibility job. Our part of thing for your own sake and to make your sake fulfilling, doing prayer with full, warm-hearted, dedicated to all sentient beings, whole, this, earth, this world, okay? So that way, the answer is, yes, we all can meditate. Every morning you meditate, send your love, compassion and light in the form of your love and compassion to all those who are responsibility of disharmony, violence, disturbance, creating problems, source of problems. Especially think of them to harmonize their wild heart, to be an open heart, compassion. To those people who are victim of those facts, things happening. Sending light. If hundreds of people, thousands of people sending lights to them every day, that is the energy, because after all, we all are connected through energy. Through energy and light in subtle level, but grosser level energy. So therefore, in every believing tradition, if you look to the Tibetan tradition, Buddhas in a Burn and Buddhas in a Buddhist, Hindu or Christian, Jewish, everyone, those angels, protectors, deities, kandos, everyone is somehow, their symbol of healing is Jesus Christ. You will see always light sending through his. Buddha's Shakyamuni sending lights, or aura of the light and rays, compassion, and in a burn as well. In Hindu, they have lights coming from Om, they have lights from coming peace, etc. Everyone is not behind something to do with any light and rays. What does that mean? I think, according to Dzogchen in our tradition, ultimately we all are none other than emptiness, union of clear light. That's it. Therefore, Dzogchen practice result brings you this very raw material body, flesh body, disappear everything in a light. Nothing remains on this planet, on this earth, your body, except your cloth when you die. That is the body of, that is, we all have a potential in us to do. But only effort. We were not enough effort to realize. So I'm saying, through prayer and sending light and rays has immense benefit. Even if you don't see how it benefits, don't ask a question that. You will never get the question answered to satisfy you. This way you can help. But do it 1,000 people together, do it by individual morning and before you sleep. Do again as a conclusion of your day in meditation and send them lights. So compassionate kind of day and open-hearted day start. In between, live potentially in a positive body, speech and mind in action. Then gradually it will help, it will heal, it will bring in positive. Prayers needed, prayers, yes. Okay, yes.
That it sort of relates to her question. So many people today choose or are consumed by alcoholism and drug addiction. And it's kind of an unspoken, we all know somebody who's died that way, or many people. And 1/5 of the hospital beds in America are taken up by people who are dying from not being able to stop. Any suggestions on helping in that way?
Yeah. Thank you. It's a serious and important question, but I'm not sure 100% that really I can help any sort of answer. But in general, I think alcoholic, often people look them kind of a little bit different. Oh, they're alcoholic. That is, I think, wrong. It is not something they are doing intentionally for good. It is a sickness. Another way, it is a sickness. Druggists, they take drugs not because of, very beginning, wrongdoing, not knowing exactly what the consequences. Once they're being addicted and they're living with that, it's not their choice. They want to free, but they cannot free. So it's a sickness. I would say this is all sickness. The most, yes, we can help in many ways, but helping through a little bit, more open heart to accept them, number one, wherever they are, alcoholic or druggist, accept them as. Then try to find out what makes them truly alcoholic and druggist, drug addict. What makes them that state? If you go to that, I have met several people asking, some of them are not only their misbehavior, not knowing exactly how to overcoming their problems or serious matters. For them, they think that is a serious matters in their life, that not knowing how to solve. So the best way to avoid, they take drug or they take alcohol. So for the time being, your consciousness function is being diluted, and you are not fully attentive and sensing the pain that you are living with. Feels like it's releasing. Beginning, that is the only way they think they can make little freedom. But then once the body is fully dominated by that, it becomes sickness. So we have to be so compassionate and so patient with them, handling them through love and through compassion and patiently, and understanding to help their issue. Sometimes it's quite helpful sympathizing them. People often reject their reasons because they think he is lying, she is lying, just to excuse their being of this alcoholic. So we don't listen carefully. We have to listen carefully to know the root. Then we may have, if we put number one, sympathizing, it's a big thing to relieve them, because they feel I can trust somebody. They feel that this person understands my problem. And means, if you say some good advice, to advise how to, so not to drink and so and so, whatever method, whatever way you are choosing, they will listen, because they feel that you are close to his or her feeling. Until you get that feeling, they have sort of get lost the trust to people, That is, I think, need to be built up, way. So then the environment, I think, if we can help in a way according to circumstances, may able to help some instead. And I think, I visit in Nepal several these rehab centers. Unfortunately, they are doing so wrong in a business-oriented mind. They take a big amount of money, but their concept is not to cure them to free, because if they free them and cure, their business is gone.
Yep.
So they put them in a big misery environment, and they trust losing treatment. They trust hoping such center. I don't know in your country what kind of, these kind of rehab centers must really have some spiritual ability sort of spiritual drugs they need to help them. You know, like example, yeah, one thing, yes, you can advise if any spiritual, the rehab centers have a meditation course there, have a yoga course there, general yoga, physical movement, breathing is very effective, very effective. I have my own students, some are in there in the past, they have great difficulties, and really they are overcoming. And some they have total release and freedom. Meditation, breathing, and yoga. Put them effective to practice exercise, not only to give teaching course, make them practice. You know, then the mental clarity gains the power or quality energy. That makes a big difference because mind needs to shift it. You know, I think that is very much. Okay, good. Thank you very much for coming.